She turned our private arguments into TikTok content, all to prove she was the victim. And I said nothing. But when her followers realized the videos were manipulated, the comments turned on her like a storm. The first time I became her content, I didn't even know it was happening. We were in the kitchen, mid-argument, a normal disagreement about money. Helena wanted to book some extravagant trip to Bali, and I was just trying to explain that maybe we should finish paying off our car first. It wasn't a shouting match. I didn't insult her. I just said it wasn't the smartest financial move right now. 2 days later, my friend Kevin sent me a link. Dude, is this you? I clicked. There it was. A TikTok video from Helena's account. The caption read, "Finally standing up for myself. It's hard when he doesn't see your worth." The clip was short, maybe 15 seconds, taken from our kitchen argument, but it was edited. All it showed was the moment I'd raised my voice slightly over the dishwasher saying, "It's just not going to happen right now." Then it cut to her, eyes welling up, whispering, "I just feel like you never listen to what I want." The comments were a nightmare, hundreds of them. "Girl, leave him. That's a huge red flag. The way he spoke to you is so controlling. You deserve Bali and a man who actually supports you." My stomach twisted. She had recorded our private moment, sliced it up, and painted me as the villain, all for likes from strangers. I walked into the living room. She was on the couch, scrolling through her phone, a faint smile playing on her lips. She was reading the comments. She glanced up when I entered. "My friend sent me your new video," I said. She didn't even flinch. "Yeah, it's kind of blowing up. It's important to share my truth, to show other women they're not alone." I just stared at her. Her truth. She had taken a normal conversation, twisted it into something ugly, and called it her truth. I wanted to scream, to demand she take it down, to tell her how sick it was. But I looked at her, at the way her eyes were glued to the screen, watching the likes climb, and I realized something. Yelling would only give her more content. A dramatic fight was exactly what she wanted for part 2. So I stayed silent. I didn't say another word. I just walked into my office and closed the door. She thought my silence was weakness. She thought I was backing down. She had no idea I had just decided to let her dig her own grave. That first video was a massive success for her. 500,000 views. The validation was like a drug. Suddenly she was a brave victim, a voice for the voiceless, and she needed more material to keep her audience hooked. I started noticing her phone in strange places. Propped up on a bookshelf in the living room, tucked behind a fruit bowl on the kitchen counter, peeking out from behind a pillow on our bed. She was hunting for another soundbite, another viral moment where she could edit me into the villain. So I changed my approach. I couldn't just stop disagreeing with her. That would be too obvious. Instead, when she tried to start an argument, I became the calmest, most reasonable person in the world. One night, she launched into me about not doing enough around the house. I saw her phone screen glowing, propped up on the mantel behind a picture frame. "I just feel like I do everything," she said, her voice already trembling with fake emotion. "I cook, I clean, and you've just been sitting around all night." Instead of getting defensive, I just nodded. "You're right, I haven't pulled my weight today. I got stuck on a work thing and lost track of time. I'll do the dishes and take out the trash right now. I'm sorry." She stood there, completely thrown. She had a whole speech ready, a performance planned, and I had just deflated it with a simple apology. There was no drama in a guy admitting he should do more chores. This started happening more and more. She'd try to bait me into a fight, and I'd refuse to take the bait. I could see the frustration building in her. Her viral fame was fading, and her new videos of our arguments were boring. Her followers started leaving comments like, He seems pretty reasonable here. I don't get it. Of course, that just made her double down. If she couldn't get a genuinely bad reaction out of me, she'd have to edit more creatively. The next escalation came when her family got involved. Her mom, Brenda, was her biggest fan, leaving comments like, "So proud of my brave daughter for speaking out. You are so strong." One weekend, her mom and sister Jess came over for dinner. I knew it was an ambush. Right in the middle of the meal, Brenda put her fork down and looked at me with a sad, pitying expression. "Mark," she said, "I saw Helena's latest video, the one about the finances. I'm just so worried about her. It sounds like you're being very controlling with the money." I knew Helena was recording. Her phone was propped up on its little stand, right next to the salt shaker. It was a live performance. I didn't look at Helena. I just looked at her mom. "Brenda, I understand your concern. Here's the situation. We have a joint savings account for shared goals, like a down payment on a house. Last month, over $2,000 was transferred from that account to Helena's personal account and spent at a designer store. I was trying to have a conversation about that, to understand why our shared savings were used for a personal purchase. That's the context of the video you saw." The table went silent. Brenda and Jess both turned to Helena, whose face had gone pale. I had just laid out the facts, calmly, without emotion. There was nothing she could edit. She couldn't twist my words to make me look bad. I had just told the truth in a way that was impossible to manipulate. After they left, Helena was furious. "You tried to make me look bad in front of my own mother." "No," I said, picking up the plates. "I just provided the information you edited out of your video." That's when her best friend Ashley got involved. Ashley was just as bad as Brenda, Helena's personal hype woman. After the disastrous dinner, Ashley started texting me long, angry messages about how I was a gaslighter, a manipulator, trying to isolate Helena from her family. I didn't reply to a single one. I just took screenshots of all of them and saved them in a folder. The final trap was something I'd been planning for weeks. I have a home security system with cameras in the main living areas. I installed it after a neighbor's house was broken into. The cameras record both video and audio. Helena knew they were there, but I think she honestly forgot about them. She was so focused on her own hidden phone camera that she didn't realize she was being recorded by something far more objective. I decided to create an argument so clearly her fault that even her most devoted followers wouldn't be able to defend her. I came home from work one evening and she was in a bad mood. Her latest video had flopped. She needed new drama. I decided to give it to her. I saw her phone already set up, peeking out from behind a stack of books on the shelf. "Hey," I said, "I got a strange email today from the landlord." "What about?" she asked, not looking up from her phone. It was a formal complaint from our next-door neighbor, Mrs. Gable. She said there was a huge party here last Tuesday night. Loud music until 3 a.m. I was out of town visiting my parents, so I assumed that was you. She looked up, panic flashing in her eyes. "It wasn't a party. It was just Ashley and a few friends over." "Okay," I said, pulling out my phone. Because Mrs. Gable sent the landlord a video from her doorbell camera. It shows about 15 people coming and going from our apartment, and she also sent this. I showed her a picture, a cigarette burn on the hallway carpet right outside our door. "The landlord says we're responsible for the damage. It's coming out of our security deposit." She jumped up. "She can't prove that was us. It could have been anyone." "Well," I said, swiping to the next photo, "here's a picture Ashley posted on her Instagram story that night." It was Helena and Ashley with about 10 other people crowded into our living room. One of the guys in the background was clearly holding a cigarette. The timestamp read 2:47 a.m. Her face twisted from panic to fury. "You're trying to blame me for this. This is so typical. You always try to make everything my fault." She was performing for her hidden camera, fake crying, accusing me of trying to control her, to attack her, to stop her from seeing her friends. It was a masterclass in victimhood. I just let her go. I stood there silent as she delivered her monologue. When she finally ran out of steam, I just said, "Okay, the landlord is sending the bill for the carpet repair." Then I walked away. She posted the edited video of that argument the next morning. It was a work of art, cutting out everything about the party, the neighbor's complaint, the cigarette burn. All it showed was me confronting her, then her crying about how I was always blaming her for everything. The caption read, "Sometimes the emotional abuse is worse than anything else. I feel so alone." The comments poured in. "This is his villain origin story. He's a classic narcissist. You need to get out of there, girl. We're all here for you." It was her most successful video yet. I didn't say a word. I just waited. The person who finally exposed her wasn't me. It was my sister, Sarah. My family had been watching these videos for months, and they were furious. I'd already shown them the unedited footage from my security cameras, so they knew the truth. Sarah had been waiting for the right moment to step in, and Helena's video about the party was that moment. My sister created a new TikTok account. The username was simple, The Other Side. She uploaded one video. It was a split screen. On one side, Helena's heavily edited TikTok, with dramatic music and tearful captions. On the other, the raw, unedited footage from my security camera, the entire calm conversation, me presenting the evidence, Helena's fake tears. And at the end, Sarah added the screenshot from Ashley's Instagram, showing the party and the cigarette. The final text on the screen was simple. Who is the real victim here? She didn't tag Helena. She didn't have to. The internet found it. It started as a trickle. Then it became a flood. Someone screen recorded my sister's video and reposted it. It got 1 million views in a day, then 5 million. People started stitching it, duetting it, making their own commentary videos. The truth was out. I watched it all unfold from my office. The comments on Helena's own videos began to change. The supportive messages were replaced with anger. "Wait, so you lied to us? She's the one who's emotionally abusive. She's a manipulator. We supported you, and you played us all for fools. The way you faked those tears is actually scary." The backlash was brutal. Her followers turned on her with a vengeance. Her comment sections became so toxic that she had to disable them. People started digging through all her old videos, re-examining them with new eyes, pointing out every inconsistency, every fake emotion. Her online world, the one she'd so carefully built on lies, collapsed in less than 48 hours. The comments didn't just turn off themselves. They were disabled because the truth had burned them to the ground. She came home from work 2 days after my sister's video went viral. She looked broken. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just looked at me with empty eyes. "You did this," she said. It wasn't an accusation. It was just a statement. "No," I said. "I didn't. I stayed silent. You did this to yourself. You just broadcast it to the world while you were doing it." She didn't have a response. There was nothing left to say. "I think you should pack your things," I told her. She just nodded. She spent the next few hours silently packing her clothes and her filming equipment into boxes. There was no drama, no final tearful performance. The show was over. I watched her go. I didn't help her this time. I just stood at the window and watched as she loaded her life into her car. When she was gone, I walked over to the bookshelf, the kitchen counter, the mantel. I gathered up all the little phone stands she'd hidden around the apartment, and I threw them in the trash. The silence in the apartment was the best sound I'd ever heard.